Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to Season 2 of FHK League on F1 22. And for the very first time in the league's history, we'll be doing a cross-play league, which is very, very exciting. We got PC drivers, we got PlayStation drivers, and we've got Xbox drivers, and of course we've got ourselves as commentators, which we're going to be introducing right now. My name is Jessica Ball. As you know, I've raced in FHK League before, and I've taken the honourable pleasure of being the lead commentator for this season. And joining me for the very first time in quite a long time, actually, we have got Paul. How are you doing tonight, Paul? Well, this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm excited for the race, Jess. It's going to be very interesting to see how the season plays out. Of course, with the way that FHK works, being a team-focused championship rather than a driver-focused championship, which I'm more used to covering in the commentary I've done before. It's going to be very exciting to see all that teamwork come together and see what sort of little strategies that people can come up with to work together.
Yeah, exactly. I think I had a few teammates, during my time in FHK League, but it was a very, very, very good system as well. So we're just about to get started. They are planning to start bang on 4 o'clock. We've got 1 minute to go. That's why we're going for our preamble right now. So we're kicking off Season 2 with Australia, which was actually the first ever race that FHK League actually held on F1 2020, believe it or not. I think I finished 7th at that time. I had really bad luck. But don't forget that was on the old layout. More about that in just a second. Then we got Monza next week, Miami, Austria, Hungary, the Netherlands. I'll get the other screen there. We got Japan, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, and then the final race will be decided by you guys watching at home as to what track that you want the drivers racing in as well. Now, as you notice, we've only got one tier for the time being, Tier 2. We haven't got many for our top league, which will take place at 8 PM usually, but hopefully we'll get more soon. But the interesting thing about this league, Paul, simulation damage, and on a track like Australia, the drivers need a lot of guts to perform well today.
Yeah, I don't think I've covered a league with sim damage on yet, so it's going to be interesting to see what sort of carnage, or not carnage, fingers crossed, that we see throughout the race, because of course with sim damage it's not just a case of having to worry about your front wing. You've got that floor, which is oh so important in F1 22 to keep your eye on and not damage. So running over any curbs, just a little bit too much, that could be crucial, especially at some of the faster phases of the circuit. Looking at the likes of turn 11, turn 12 especially, it's very easy to cut a little bit too much off of 11. Just take a little bit off the floor, and then that could affect your pace for the rest of the race, the rest of the session.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about the calendar. We will now talk to you, the drivers that are going to be racing in this tier. Now, we've got 3 female drivers. We had 5 in the first season of FHK. There's quite a few female drivers in Tier 1, but they obviously can't race in Tier 2 because they're too quick. So we'll hopefully see them a little bit later on. But we've got we should have 20 drivers. I think we're missing 2 drivers at the moment. That's why I think we're waiting to get started. So we've got Hannah and Stephen in the Ferrari. Hannah being one of our first female drivers racing the original FHK League, which is very exciting. Glad to see her back along with Stephen. In the Mercedes, we've got Bainesy and Cage Nelson. I apologise, by the way, guys, if I say any of your names wrong. If I do, or if any of us do, just tell us how we say it, ready for next week. We've got Jish and Caesar in the Red Bull. We've got our league directors, our league owners, Formula Hun and Kieran in the Alpine. I thought they would go for the Haas, actually, so I'm quite surprised they went for the Alpine, but I can see why, because they got the little bit of the pink on there, so great to see them there. We've got one of our tier coordinators, Finbot, in the Haas. He recently got promoted full-time yesterday. He was originally a reserve, so glad to see him being full-time, along with MX Fan. We've got Scars and I can't even say his name. We're going to have words, I'm sorry. In the Alfa Romeo. We've got Babatunde and Pillars in the Alpha Tauri. Now, Babatunde I've seen race before. In the McLaren, we have Ella Wiggles and F1 Nerd. Ella Wiggles is another female driver, our final female driver today. In the Aston Martin, we got Yash and another one of our tier coordinators, Ruff. And then in the Williams, we've got Machiga Forever and Ryan Chivers. Now, I'm just trying to see how many drivers we've got from different platforms. Most of them are on PlayStation, including myself. We've got the other commentator, of course, Paul, who's on PC. We've got, I might be wrong, so apologies if I get this wrong. So we've got Alex on Xbox. We have got Weller on PC, Scars on PC, Ella Wriggles on Xbox. We've got MX Fan on Xbox, Bainesy on Xbox, and everybody else is on PlayStation. Now, this is going to be my first crossplay commentary. It's going to be very, very exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how all different platforms work together. Will we see a platform wars, do you think, even though it'll be a team event?
I wonder if we might do a little bit, yeah, as things pan out with especially if we have teammates on different consoles as well, sort of arguing which one is better. But of course, everybody should get along, I imagine, throughout the season, especially teammates, regardless of platform choices, because it's a league that promotes inclusivity, and there's nothing more inclusive than working as a team, regardless of console choices. I can hear in the background we have some ticking going on, which means I think we're about to get into qualifying, Jess.
Yeah, we are. We are about to get started now. Something I didn't know until 10 minutes ago. We've got full qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think the drivers were prepared about this either. It might have been in the rule book, but guess what? I didn't read the rules, so naughty me. I know the league directors can give me a bit of a talking afterwards. They have permission to do that, so we're sorry. Well, they might have decided it last minute, which is fair enough. It's going to be pushing it on whether I'm going to make my next commentary on time, which starts at 6:30, but we should be all good. So, how it's going to work, in case you don't know of the usual Formula 1 system. We've seen it in Singapore earlier. No spoilers, don't forget. 80-minute qualifying session for Q1. The slowest 5 drivers will get knocked out. Then in Q2, it will lead down to the slowest 5 drivers after that. Then in Q3, the best 10 drivers will battle it out to take that all-coveted whole position. Now, it gets nerve-wracking if you're not in the top 10, as it were, but plenty of opportunities to get right. Luckily, it's a dry session already for the first part of qualifying, so I may as well get the scene up. Yeah, we go for the very first time. We've got 18 drivers. I think we're missing 2, which is a bit of a shame. Now, this track was first opened and used in Formula 1 back in '96. We saw a Williams 1-2 with Damon Hill and Jack Villeneuve. He did very well in his rookie year to almost take a win on debut, actually. But Damon Hill took the win from him. And then the year later, Jack Villeneuve actually won the 1997 championship. And a certain Michael Schumacher took him out in controversial fashion in '97. But we don't want to talk too much about it. But the track has changed since the FHK drivers were last racing, of course. We've got the chicane, which is no longer there. It's now a long straight, which I do prefer. Do you like this new and updated track compared to the old one, which was seen in the last games?
I absolutely do. I think the old sort of, especially that mid-sector, especially where we've seen the big changes around what is now turn 9 and turn 10, they felt a little bit clumsy before whenever I've driven it. So having it be this big, fast-flowing section that sets you up for turn 11, turn 12, and even then down to Ascari at turn 13 as well, I think it makes the track so much better, and it just feels so much more alive when you're driving through there. You're carrying so much more speed. You've got all those advertising hoardings and the fences flying past you. It just feels so much more impressive in itself to drive as well.
Yes, exactly. And I've beached myself quite a few times in, I think it was the turn 11, 12 corner. I did that in one league, I think a couple of weeks ago. And it was quite frustrating. I kind of reset to track, which I wasn't allowed to do, but I got away with it. So there you go. Let's hope the people in that league are not listening. So, first braking zone then, heading into turn 1. It's quite a heavy one. It remains unchanged since the very start as well. Make sure you clip that curb very, very nicely. You're going to be heading, floor the throttle through here, through turn number 3. There's a lot of traffic already with Z92's lap, so let's hope people will move out the way as they head towards turn number 4. Now, bearing in mind, quite a few people will be on the intermediate tyres. Don't worry, this is normal in leagues which have full qualifying. It's just for people to get used to the track because they don't have enough softs to last for the whole of qualifying Q1, Q2, Q3 kind of thing. So some people are just on inters to make sure their setup's working, make sure that their rig is working, or pedals, controller, whatever they use, to make sure that is fine as well. So he's passed the updated version on the track, takes out very well. It was a bit tentative there going through that curve, so we have seen people bin it before as well. Then we go to the corner. I've got beach quite a few times there, turn 11, and then we head towards turn number 12, and we'll see what the fastest lap time is going to be. The fastest lap time I did around qualify was a 1:19.1, but I think we'll see much quicker lap times than that here today. As he's kind of binned in the final corner, which just shows how hard the final corner can be. So Z92 goes up to the line. What can he do? A 1:19.3, so not bad lap from him. He could have gone into the 1:18s if he put a lap together right. I'm just seeing who else is on lap next. We've got, I think, Radio Alex on one. We got KG Boy, who just came across the line with a 1:20.4. I think pole time, would you say, I don't know the pace of these drivers, so I don't have a clue, but do you think 1:18s would be a good lap, do you think, for these drivers?
Yeah, I think so. I think 1:18 is definitely going to be achievable in this session. Maybe even as the drivers sort of get more hooked up and more into it and get a feel for the cars and the setups that they're running going into a Q3, we might see going down into perhaps a 1:17, maybe. I don't want to say it in case I curse it, but maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. 1:19.3 is a good benchmark time, and we saw there's still time on the table, especially through the final corner for him there with the little wiggle, just trying to get on the power, which is so difficult, of course, in these cars. They're very much limited on the rear traction. Whenever you try and get on the loud pedal, you'll see drivers short shifting all the time just to try and stop that wheel spin coming out of sort of slower corners wherever they can. So if you can tame that aspect of your car right, you can absolutely get out of that final corner faster, shave off a huge chunk of time, as well as you saw, tentative moments throughout the lap as well, just trying to get that benchmark time down, more time to be found elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, this is not the fastest we're going to see in the session. Q1 is obviously the slowest out of the session, so people may not be pushing too much if they feel like they're confident in getting through to Q2, but a lot of these drivers don't have a clue as to what people's pace width is, so they're going to pretty much be pushing all the time. As we got Milsom up to the line, he's thin to you and me, and he comes across the line in pole position, 1:18.9, which is similar to what I can achieve. So good on to him at the moment. Who else is on a run? I don't think anyone else is on a run. I think most people are on out laps. Have I got the right tyres? We've still got Rough on inters. Don't know why. I think he's just come out, actually. Yes, he's just come out. I think he was just waiting for a little bit because I think he wasn't happy with his setup or anything like that. So he's going again, just to be sure. Normal league rules apply in terms of part firme, by the way. It is on, but there is a glitch, I believe, that when we go to the race, people can change their whole setup, but we do not encourage that, of course, in this league. I don't think they police it, of course, but just don't do it, otherwise you'll get told off for that at the moment. So let us know in the chat, guys, on where you think the cut-off time for the drop zone, as it were, which is, I think, only potentially only 3 drivers will get knocked out this session if we don't have the full 20 drivers. Obviously 2 are missing, so yeah, only 3 drivers will be looking to get out of that bottom 3. Shame it's not a bottom 5, but there we go. I usually would say right now who would be in contention for that, but we can't tell. Just those early stages, they're still getting a feel for the track.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, even with Ruff and Scars up until literally as I started talking, still out there on the inters, just getting their feel for the circuit as well. And we saw a lot of traffic on the first runs, so of course times maybe not fully representative for some of those drivers if they've had to break lines to get by traffic on the way around, so on and so forth. So I can imagine we'll probably see a cut-off time somewhere in the region. I'm going to completely guess this based off what we've seen so far. Somewhere in the region of about a mid 1:19, maybe 1:19.4, 1:19.5 on the board. That was a big wiggle for Kia coming around turn 13 there, but managed to keep the Alpine going in a straight line in the final sector. And this will be his first lap of the session as well. So we'll see where Kia can get to. As I think we've got a few more cars out on track now, Jess, just setting their first lap times of the session.
So Kieran comes across the line with a 119.2, which puts him into P2. He'll be pretty happy with his performance so far. Meanwhile, his teammate, Formula Hun, is not doing too well as she got into the gravel there trap as well, unfortunately. But if she sets a lap, that'll be better than invalidating, because there's quite a few people that have invalidated. We've got Jish in the Red Bull. He's going to finish off his run then. What can he do? He's 15th at the moment. Can he get higher than 15th? He can definitely get higher than 15th. It's a 118.527. And next across the line will be, I think someone just came across the line there. Didn't quite see who it was, but we've got MX Fan on the Xbox side making his debut with us as well. It's great to see a few people in different platforms represent us. It's great to see. And we've got MX Fan up to the line. And this is looking like a decent lap time for the Hash driver. A 120.5 puts him into P7. Of course, we don't know if it will be enough to get out get into Q2. We saw quite a few people bidding it on their laps again, so still people are struggling with this track, it seems.
Yeah, and speaking of, I was just keeping one eye on Radio Alex, and in fact there's an AlphaTauri just behind that's had a bit of a moment as well there, trying to dodge Alex coming through the final sector. He just got a little bit too excited on the throttle. Again, I think it was coming out of turn 13, and that Aston Martin went around, and that was lap over. It was looking like a decent lap as well. As you can see, it's a 1:43.5 when they crossed the line, which isn't particularly fast. Somehow managed to not invalidate the lap, even though they did bounce off the wall with a hefty whack as well, with simulation damage. I'm quite surprised that car is still as drivable as it's looking so far on the first part of this next lap they're running. But we've still got, of the 18 runners, 6 yet to set a lap time, which is just and there goes Radio Alex again. This time there is definitely damage to the Aston Martin. The front wing completely
Point the right way, point the right way, go, go, go. You don't want to get disqualified. There you go. There you go. I've done that once, I think, in career mode, where I was pointing the wrong way and I got disqualified. Not very nice. I did it in the preview build as well around here. Again, not very nice. We've seen Ella Riggles there, who got her lap together with a 120.8. I'm still trying to get used to saying a bit more she's than he's, because I'm used to commentating on a full male league. So that's going to be interesting. I'll still get used to it. It should be absolutely fine. But we only got 3 females, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. We've got Ella's teammate F1 Nerd as he heads towards the penultimate few corners, and number 25 in the McLaren, of course, not doing too well in real life. Actually, it's not 25; it's a completely different number. But screw that. He comes across the line. What can he do? A 120.578, which puts him into P8 right now, and Alex has got no front wing. So at the moment, the 3 drivers at risk are the ones who've not set lap times, but we will see what they could do at the end of the session. We've got a few people that could go again. 7 minutes left to go, of course. As Milsom, aka Finn, has thought, you know what? I don't think I could do any better. I think I can make my way through to Q2. I'm staying put in the pit lane, saving a bit of tyres, and he seems pretty confident with himself, doesn't he? But a 118.9, I think, should see him safely through.
Yeah, I think you're right there. 118.9 is definitely going to be top 15 material in this session at the very least. So should be safe up there in P2 for now. Maybe drop down 1 or 2 positions as people find pace, but definitely not into the danger zone, as Scars does, in fact, drop him down a position by coming across the line with a 118.5. So that is the Alfa Romeo up onto the provisional front row. Of course, not actually going to set the front row, being just a Q1 session, but that should see Scars through into the next session. And a nice little spin for good measure coming out through the first sector, as maybe a little celebration of that lap, perhaps. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one and say it was on purpose. We do have one of our 3 drivers that is yet to set a lap time. Hannah is about to come around the final corner to start her first flying lap, and hopefully this will be the first lap completed for the session, and we'll see if Hannah can match the sort of pace that her teammate has shown so far. Stephen's got that 119.6 on the board, up in P6 at the moment, so let's see what Hannah can do.
Yes, I've raced with her before, and she's been really lovely to race with. She's been a lovely friend to me as well, and she raced on the PS5. She's been racing in Rocket GP this season, and her main highlight was getting a podium in RGP, which I have to say, getting a podium for the very first time is always a nice feeling, as well as she seems pretty confident in that first sector so far. She seems not messing up too much. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite me in a few moments' time as we head towards turn 8 and 9, and then heading towards turn 10 now as well. And she seems to be coping with this corner very well, as a few people haven't done so today, as we head towards turn 11 now. As we'll talk about a few other drivers, I think, later on in the session as we go through the qualifying, because we did ask them to send in their driver profiles as to what their expectations are for the season, and she said to beat her teammate, and that's the first goal of anything, is to beat your teammate. If you beat your teammate, then you can set other goals in life, as this is looking like a very good lap for her. 1:19.8. That puts her into P7. Now let's see if anyone could beat that. I think that should be safe for now, but don't forget, around this track evolution is probably the highest out of most of the tracks on this calendar. We got Ruff on a lap 2 past turn 11. He's 15 in the danger zone right now. He could drop out, drop a hat if he's not careful. We got Z92 that's retired from the session. He thinks he's done enough to make his way through into Q2, and I think he's just about, but it does depend on any guys below him could do enough. I think Ruff has definitely done enough. He's come across the line in P3. If I was him, I would retire the car right now, coming into the pit, and save a set of tyres, my friend. But Caesar and Radio Alex will get to go again. Weller, Formula Hum, Bainesy, Ella, anyone I would say in the 120s at the moment, or below, I would say you'll have to go again. Maybe even in the low 119s like Hannah and Steven. Pretty much top 6, I would say safe. Anything below that, if I were you, if you have time, go again.
Yeah, I think if I were the Ferraris right now, I'd be sweating a little bit, because that's right. I think going to be right on the cusp of that cutoff in this session, especially as you say, with the track evolution being the way it is around Albert Park. We could see those times start to come under a bit of a threat. I'm just keeping one eye on the Mercedes of KG Boy at the moment, sitting in P9, just behind those two, looking pretty rapid out there at the moment in the Silver Arrow. Coming into the final sector, rounding turn 13, using a little bit of the grass even on entry just to widen that corner as much as possible, carrying as much of the momentum through as possible. And now it's just a final couple of corners, which, again, to me, probably the clumsiest corners left on the circuit now. They're very tricky to get right, especially getting on the power coming out of the final corners. We've seen very easy to break traction, very easy to lose the rear, but it keeps it in one straight line, and across the line he goes. And it's an improvement, but not in position, a 1:19.975. That may be enough, but we'll have to wait and see as the session draws to a close. We've got pretty much almost everybody out on track at the moment. Babatunde stayed in, so I think that will possibly be all we see.
He'll have time, because I think the timer may be glitched on our side. So we will probably have time to go again. He may be leaving it to the death, I think. But if he wants to start at the back, fair enough. That is a good challenge. But we'll see if he could settle out before the end of the session. Caesar, who is last at the moment, he's got to get higher than last. He's done even better, 1:18.8. At the moment, I think that should be enough. But that will be his final lap. He's going to hope and pray that nobody will drop below him, but I think he should be okay, because Milsom has retired as well. Scars, I will retire, and Jish, I will retire as well. So those guys should retire in the pit, save a bit of soft tyres, as KG Boy, I think, will do the same, or he probably, if I was him, go for another run, but he doesn't have too much ERS left as well. We've got everyone on flying laps. We've got MX Fan heading past into turn 12. Oh, a bit squirmy on exit there. This is going to be tight for MX Fan at the moment. And for anybody... Oh, no, he's coming in. He's coming into the bits. Oh, if I would have gone again. I would have gone again. He's in danger of getting knocked out of Q1. We'll see what F1 there could do, because he could go above him in the standings. So in the McLaren then, he's going to set his last potential lap of qualifying. What can he do? 120.1, a P11 that knocks MX Fan up. Ella's not going to have time to set her run. She is in danger of getting knocked out. Rella is going slowly. I think that's his qualifying session done, unfortunately. I don't think he's going to get around again, but we'll have to wait and see. Radio Alex has invalidated. It's going to be tough for him to get another lap in, but we'll see. He hardly got any ERS, so I believe we got our first casualty. Radio Alex is out of Q1.
Yeah, and now eyes are glued to Formula Hun, who's currently on a flying lap. She's down in P15 at the moment, right in the danger zone, because Babatunde is out there on a lap as well. We don't know what pace that Babatunde has either. So Hun feeling a little bit of pressure in this session, but keeping it glued down so far in the Alpine. The DRS is open coming down towards turn 13. And what can she pull out? In fact, Babatunde is retired from the session. So
You're doing
Hun
a last
should be
two challenge.
Safe.
Yeah.
He did come out for an outlap and in fact started a qualifying lap as well and decided, no, I'm not fancying that.
He didn't bin it. Oh, he didn't bin it. Oh, no! Naomi's binned it on the final corner, across the wall there. And that is an example of a commentator's curse of the Alpines, because I usually tend to commentator's curse the Alpines, but she shouldn't need to worry because she is still safe from qualifying, and none of the bottom three were able to improve on their lap time. So your people that are eliminated from Q1 is Weller, Radio Alex and Babatunde. I think Babatunde is starting last on purpose, but for Weller and Alex, unfortunately their qualifying is not good. And very, very exciting, all three females in the league have made it through to Q2. That's good representation, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's great to see them making their way into the next qualifying session. And in fact, for the likes of Hannah as well, even looking like a Q3 appearance, if I can find the words, could even be on the cards. And I'm sure the other women in the league would love to follow that as well, going through this qualifying session to try and get the representation into the top 10 and carry that into the race as well. So see how Q2 goes. Everybody's dialed in now. Everybody's feeling more and more comfortable with the track and finding their limits, I think, is the important thing, as we've seen a few times in this Q1 session. Just finding where the limits of traction are, coming through certain corners where dropping a bit of power in is going to lose that back end. So with those lessons learned, Q2 could be a bit closer.
Yeah, I think a few people will be pushing more. I think the sandbags will definitely be off there in Q2, but we'll run through your order then. The top two is quite close, to tell you the truth. And on top is Jish with a 1:18.527. Scars 18.564. So the battle for pole is going to get tense. And we got Ruff in third. And we got Cedar, we got Finn, we got Kieran, Z92, Stephen and Hannah 8 and 9. Then we got KG Boy in 10. And we got Nerd, Bainsy, MX Fan, Ella Wiggles, and Formula Hun. They'll be making it through to the next part of qualifying. And the three people, like we said, eliminated are Rella, Raider, Alex, and Babatunde. So they will have to, unfortunately, sit back from the next part of qualifying just to see what could have been for them. And we've seen in some instances on this game, in particular with the top tier PSGL that we've watched on the PC, where puts a little bit of a spanner in the works. Let's hope it doesn't have that same predicament today as well, as we are about to get ready. It's taking a while to load, unfortunately, but it is sunny again for Q2, which is great to see. 14 minutes of qualifying compared to the 18 minutes that we're seeing in Q1, of course. This time we've got 15 drivers. The slowest 5 drivers will get eliminated, and that will lead the top 10 to fight it out for Q3. So any drivers that need to step it up a bit after seeing their performance in Q1?
Yeah, I think anybody in the back 5 at the end of Q1, perhaps. Yeah, maybe we can give them the benefit of the doubt, and it was just a limit finding session, just sort of learning the track, and maybe putting on a bit of a show for the first race of Tier 2. Who knows? Maybe the sandbags are on, as you say. We'll have to wait and see. But I think of those, especially towards the front of the grid, they should be pretty comfortable after that first Q1 session, with the lap times on the board dropping into the 18s already, even down to the 18.5s that we saw come out towards the end for the top 2. So those guys should be feeling pretty safe. But we should some of them should be feeling the pressure. I think Hun will be feeling the pressure, and I think we saw that come out towards the end of the session, not realizing that she perhaps was safe and pushing just a little bit hard through the final corner. But the good thing is, with the way the qualifying format is, in between each session, you do at least get a couple of minutes, calm those nerves down, get yourself back in the zone, and then you're back on track.
Yeah, and it's not unlike previous years on the F1 games where they have to start on the tyres they qualified on. They have free choice of tyres, and they have no choice of what tyres they go on in qualifying. They have to go on the soft compounded tyre for all their runs, unless they want to go on inters like Finn is doing right now. So we are heading towards the start of qualifying as Scars is about to warm up. The main contender, I would say, for qualifying, and we're just seeing one of our people who got eliminated in the chat that just came in. He was good on the track limit penalty, and he was feeling good about his lap. So what could have been? I think this is a guy to watch out for. I think Alex going into the race to see if he can climb up from where he is to finish potentially in the top 15, because the top 15 do score points in FHK. Scars then is looking to beat his main rival in qualifying again for Q2, because Jish beat him in Q1. Could we see Scars do that in Q2? Now, Scars, I've commentated on him before on a PC league, and he's I have to say, he is quick. He is very quick. I don't know why he's in this tier, but you never know. Anything can happen in FHK. He's racing PSGL, WR and ERS. I think I commentated on ERS a few times as well. And his main biggest league racing achievement was a World Drivers' Championship in MRLT2 a few seasons ago. Oh, I was saying that. He's hit the gravel trap there in turn 11. So not ideal for him. And his main expectation is to win both championships. I know the Drivers' Championship is not going to be much for Thing, but he wants to win a team championship. That's the crucial thing. And that's not got his qualifying station to a good start. He is just in the gravel trap, and most importantly, he has invalidated. So I commentators cursed him. Sorry, Scars.
Yep, the commentator's curse strikes again, but yeah, the competitive nature of drivers like Scars who go and say, yeah, it may be a team-based championship, but I want the Drivers' Championship too. That could play well for the team, don't forget, because if you're winning the Drivers' Championship, you're going to be scoring a boatload of points, and no team is going to say no to a boatload of points. As KG Boy sets the first time of the session, 120.2, immediately followed by Milsom on the intermediate tyres with a 123.9. I'm keeping one eye at the moment on Stephen making his way through the final sector. First of the Ferraris to set a lap time in this session. It's been looking pretty okay so far on this lap. Finding those limits again. Still more left on the table coming through the final corner as was shown there, but across the line we go into P2. A couple of tenths off the back of KG Boy at the moment, but with a purple third sector with time still left there. So, yeah, and then Kia comes in with a 118.8. So I was about to say there's definitely time left on the table for these drivers, and Kia comes in and goes, I'll have all of that time. Thank you very much.
This is more like it from Kieran now. I think he's just setting the pace, I think, in qualifying 2 so far as well, which is great to see. I did tell you that the sandbags were going to be off in this session, because otherwise they'll be in danger of knocking out. But he did qualify in P6 in the last session, so he should be relatively okay, but never say never. There could be people that were sandbagging and could knock him out of Q2 if he's not careful. Z92, who's on the lap. Ella Wriggles is about to start one. We got Jish, who's going through the middle sector, but he's invalid, so he's not going to knock the guys off a pole position, unfortunately, yet. Bainesy is starting his run, so we'll follow. Let's follow Z92 in the Williams, actually, as he heads towards turn number 11 then. He was quite close to pole position as well. Well, provisional pole in Q1, top in the session, I would say. It's hard to call it provisional pole because it's not, but the number 2 driver, he gets towards the final corner. So he's in 8th at the moment on our timing screens. Is he going to be good enough for pole position? It looks good, but will it show in the timings? It is good, but about a tenth slower than Kieran at the moment, but that puts him into P2. Safe for now, but anything can happen in Formula 1. Bainesy's on run. Ella Wriggles, let's see what she can do now as she heads towards turn 11.
Yeah, we've got all 3, well, 2 of the 3 women, should I say, out there at the moment, because Hun's out on a lap as well, and this will be her second as MX Fan retires from the session
in the pit lane
already, very early in the session. And I'm wondering, is that that's a 120.6? That might not be enough to get into the top 10 as Hun's coming across the line now to go P8 just behind a 120.8. So that's a nice benchmark there in the Alpine for her, but that is on the technically used tyres.
Bainsy's hit the wall. Be careful that you don't hit the Red Bull. We didn't hit the Red Bull. That's good. But that's his lap gone. But at least he's going to be valid. So if I was him, I would get a valid lap in. But he doesn't. He directly does not follow what I say. Goes into the pits. But Jish, he comes across the line on a scrub set of tyres and goes in at 2 P1 with a 118.265. And we're not going to start the whole scrub tyre debate like F1 Esport. I know there's been loads of debates about that, but Jish, the man who was on top in Q1, he's on top once again in Q2, and I can't remember if it was quicker than his Q1 time, but that time should, I think, definitely see him to the next part of qualifying.
Yeah, I think so, and that is a blisteringly fast time, and it's making me feel a little bit more confident in what I said towards the top of the broadcast, where maybe we'd see drivers dipping into the 117s. We're getting closer, so when Q3 rolls around, I definitely think a 117 might be on the table for the likes of Jish, Kia, Z92, any one of those drivers, or we could even get a nice surprise with another driver from a little further back, just hooking up that perfect lap. We simply don't know at this stage of qualifying. But going back to Bainsy, I saw this mentioned in Hun's chat just a little while ago. We should definitely give a shout out to Bainsy, of course, doing as well as he's doing so far while battling cancer is just a tremendous achievement. So
wow.
Yeah, big round of applause for Bainsy for doing as well as he is so far. So that's brilliant to see. What's not brilliant to see is not many cars out on track at the moment. Everybody coming in, resetting, ready, as Jish is definitely happy with that lap.
I would be.
We've got Ella Riggles and Ruff out there at the moment on out laps, and I think we're going to get a few more coming out now, as I can see a Mercedes coming down the pit lane as well.
Yeah, so everyone is going again, and I have to say, his name's Luke, by the way, Bainsy, so I think we'll call him Luke. So massive congratulations on getting through to the next part of qualifying as well, and his expectation for the season, get a win, work with teammates, score an awesome final championship standing. Now, Bainsy is in the Mercedes, so is KG Boy. Both Mercedes are through to Q2. I'm just seeing which teams have got both their drivers into Q2. We've got Red Bull, we've got McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and I think that's it. Everyone else has, I think, only one teammate. Oh, did I say Red Bull? I think I said Red Bull. But I think those are the only teams that have both of their teammates through into Q2. Will they get both their teammates into Q3? Remains to be seen. I'm trying to see anyone I can pick out to talk about their expectations as well. F1 Nerd wants to finish every race and be consistently fighting for points. Well, top 15 score points, so him being in Q2 is a pretty good position at the moment. We've got, I've already said about Hannah, didn't I? Yes, I did. Stephen, as his biggest race achievement was captaining a team of drivers to winning an F1 World Cup style event a few years ago. That's very, very good. So congratulations to him. And his goal is also to beat his teammate. So that's quite a common goal, I think, for all these drivers. And I wonder if they've been having the same goals as Ella Riggles. Unfortunately, binned it in the final corner. She's going to have to wait until a lot of cars go through. She's got to be careful not to get disqualified. But we'll follow some more people on runs. We've got Hannah, who's going through the final few corners. She hasn't set a lap time yet. She's got to be careful of Ella Riggles. I think she's going to go again. Right, she's going again. She's got plenty of ERS, so she's going to go again on one final run. That might be a final run in the qualifying then. So the people in danger at the moment are Ella Riggles, Caesar, F1 Nerd, Bainsy and Hannah. We know Bainsy and Caesar can go quicker. So that puts Milsom and Formula Hun also in danger. MX Fan, I would say, is in danger. He retired early on, a 120.6. That's danger, I would say, for him. If I was him, I'll be worried.
Oh, there's a big Bainsy going round. I was just watching that lap coming because it was looking pretty rapid, and then just coming through turn 11, the rear end stepped away. I think he's just about managed to keep it out of the wall, managed to keep it rolling, so there's going to be no disqualifications for sitting still. But now it's a case of, can he charge enough battery as he decides that DRS board, he doesn't like that one in particular, and smashes that to bits on the way round. But 60% battery might be able to charge just enough through this final sector to get one final run of qualifying. There is time left.
Oh, Caesar did exactly the same to what Hun did in Q1. He binned it. He is going to have enough time to go again, but it's going to be quite slow. So we could have our biggest shock of the afternoon. The man who did really well in Q1 was in the top 10 in Q1. He could be out of Q2, which is not what we want to see at the moment. We saw one Ferrari that spinned it. That might be Steven, actually, that spinned it, unfortunately. Hanek just came across the line with a 119.5. That is decent, but I think on the bubble at the moment, will it see us safe into the next part of qualifying? Remains to be seen. F1 Nerd is going to go on his final run then, with 2 minutes and 50 left to go. So we got about 6-7 drivers in danger. I would say if you're in the 118s, I would say you're safe. So Jish, Rav, Kieran and Zen92, they'll be sitting very happy in their pit boxes, knowing that they'll be through to the next part of qualifying. Ella Wriggles has retired. Oh, she's binned it. Where has she binned it, I wonder? Was that exit
like
turn 7?
Coming around turn 9.
Turn
That's
9.
coming around turn 9, yeah, you can just see as
so she's out of qualifying.
Yeah.
She's out of qualifying. What a shame. After a good qualifying session in Q1, she's out. I think she was around about 12th, 13th anyway in qualifying. So that is unfortunate for her. So we'll see if any of the female drivers can do better and get a female into the top 10. We'll have to wait and see. But Bainsy then, he's on a run then. Let's see if he can make it to Q3. Oh, I don't think so with that lap. Let's hopefully he has enough fuel to go out again. He should have enough fuel to go out again. So this won't be his final attempt. This will be his final attempt as F1 Nerd. Is he going quicker? He is going quicker. So we'll see if he could go higher than 15th. 120.0. Again, on the cusp. I think he's not safe for now. But the gap between P8 and P11 is around about 8 tenths. So I think he'll be fine, but again, track evolution's going to be extremely high, so no one, I would say, from P8 is safe at the moment, but we'll see as Finn up to the line. He's going again for his final run then, so he's going a final run. Bainsy is 4 tenths up in the middle sector then, so he's pushing. Oh, he almost pushed too much. He almost hit the wall. Someone else has just hit the wall there.
That's Steven.
That's Steven there. That was close, because if he did bin it and retire, that would have put him out of qualifying, even if he set a competitive lap to get through into Q3. So that's the crucial thing I completely forgot about. If you bin it in qualifying and if you basically retire from the session due to damage, you can't take part in the next session. So Bainsy then, up to the line. What is it going to be for him? 122.1. So, I think at this stage, unless he improves on this final run, he doesn't have any ERS, I think that will be him out of qualifying. Caesar only good enough for P12, and that's, wow. Scars with a 118.2. In Q1, it was a turn of Jish to be on the top. At the moment, it looks like Scars, but Ruff and Kieran are hot on their trail at the moment. We'll see if those two can go any quicker than them.
Yeah, and at the moment, once again, pressure's falling on Hun to deliver in this final lap of qualifying, this time on the wrong side of the danger zone, sitting in P11, but out there at the moment and improving, even if it is only slightly. Will need to find a little bit more time, needs to find 4 tenths, and so far has only found half a tenth. So how much time has Hun left in this final sector so far this session, making her way through turn 13, looking pretty decent through there. And again,
it looks pretty
through
good.
This turn, it is looking nice and glued together. But now the tricky final couple of corners just need to get the traction right coming out the final corner, and we could see an improvement for Hannah. Even if she doesn't make it into Q3, she could still go past MX Fan up into P11, which would be a nice start.
That's a good
lap. She does make it to P10, a very good lap indeed. Doesn't bow to the pressure this time around, and that
but
should
she's in
see
danger.
Hun
She's
through.
in danger. Caesar's improving. No, she's not. he's not. Caesar's not improving. Bainsy's in the pits. So that was lucky for Formula One there. Again, by a whisker, she makes it through to Q3. In the last session, she barely, she's just scraped through. And in this session, she scraped through as well. So your 5 people eliminating are Stephen, MX Fan, Caesar, Bainsy and Ella Wriggles. I would say Caesar and MX Fan are the biggest shot. So I was expecting MX Fan to set another lap time. On pole, on top of the session is Scars from Jish, from Ruff and Kieran. The top 5 that I was expecting to be the top 5 are there as well. We've got Milsom that's made it up there. Hannah, again, a good lap time from her. I have to say, she's come leaps and bounds since I last seen her race. I have to say, a massive improvement for her in terms of her league racing journey. That's great to see. She makes it through into Q3. So does F1 Nerd, and so does Formula Hun. So that makes it 2 females out of the 3 that make it through to Q3. Shame about Ella, but I know Ella has great racecraft, so we'll see if she could put it through in the race. So those are your top 10 making it through to Q3. I'm a bit surprised Caesar has not made it through to Q3. Same with MX Fan and Steven, because they were comfortably in the top 10, those 3, in Q1. So maybe the pressure got to them.
Maybe, though I believe we had a message in chat from Jake G22. I'm not sure if that is MX Fan or not, but I think it came in not long after we were wondering what was going on with MX Fan, saying saving the last set of softs for the race strategy called. So maybe we can see some pace coming through. It did backfire a little bit, but with those soft tyres and the pace that we know is there, we could see a climb through the order very quickly, depending on where those soft tyres go on, either towards the end or towards the beginning of the race. So definitely going to keep our eyes peeled, especially, as you say, on those 3 that we know have pace from Q1, that made it through to Q2, but then couldn't find that pace for whatever reason that it may be in Q2, and just ended up dropping back. So it'd be, yeah, my eyes are going to be glued to that. It's a tricky track to overtake around Australia, especially with the way that that middle sector has been reprofiled. So it is going to be tricky, but it's not impossible to make your way through if you've got pace on those ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is going to be the part of qualifying where it's going to be the most competitive for these drivers. So the top 10 then, they will be seeing who will get pole position, and I'll have to say pole will definitely be in the 118s, maybe 117s if we are lucky. Some of the drivers will be aiming for that. Some of the drivers will aim not to be last in Q3. Some of the drivers just probably happy that they made it through into Q3. It's probably like a lifetime. They're probably celebrating in their cockpit saying, oh my God, I've done it. So that is a good way to start the season for them. We did have a question in the chat about will only the best drivers count in the team for the ones that are all male teams? The answer to that is, even though there's only 3 teams that have a male and female driver, the team's championship, to make it fair, both drivers will score points for their team. So that will be the case there, and that will be the team's championship will be the ultimate deciding factor. So there we go. Hopefully, in the future we'll get more females, of course. Of course, in Tier 1, we've got someone that took part in F1 Esports Pro Exhibition, and she was the fastest in the Women's World Card event, and did very, very well, actually, as well. So, Speed Queen, I think her gamer tag is as well. So if you're watching in the chat, my friend, hope you're doing well, and hopefully we'll see her on the track in FHK very soon if we get Tier 1 up and running. If you are interested in signing up as a driver and think you will be fast for Tier 1, make sure you click on the link on our Twitch as well to find out more information and sign up for the league. And if you're not Tier 1 pace and want to be reserved for this tier, then links also will be in the description. So Q3 has just started. Milson is on a lap. He's one of the first drivers to get a lap going then. Everyone's going to be on used tyres then for the first part of qualifying, but there will be some people who did qualify into Q3 quite early on, like Jish, that might have saved some sets from Q2 and have got 2 sets to use for this next part. So obviously they got an extra set for Q3. They're making it through to Q3, of course, so we'll probably see the likes of Jish go quick straight away, but it won't be representative yet until the final part of qualifying. But at least we get an idea of where people are with scrub sets, at least see who needs to push and who doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair as well, if you are one of those drivers that's managed to save the extra set, and you see everybody else going out with a scrub set, and you know you've got the pace, they could always go out on a scrub set themselves and save an extra set for the race, just in
Yeah.
case of we get surprise safety cars or anything like that, and they need to bundle the strategy around a little bit, or even if they just plan to run the soft tires during the race. So that option is available. It's one of the joys of having the pace to be a bit more comfortable through the earlier parts of qualifying, is it gives you many more options. As there we go. I
Wow.
said a 117 was on the cards, and my word,
Holy.
Z92 comes in with a 117.5 off the bat.
Sandbagger. Joking. Where did that lap time come from? I thought it would have been a 118.1 for pole, and then Z92 is like, no, thank you. 117 now. Scars, what has he got in the bag? He's going to go on a lap time now, and he's probably a bit worried. He thinks, oh, I got pole in the bag, but now he's realised, hang on, I need to step up my game here. I think I've got some competition. Well, he's got a lap time anyway, but he's going to go again on another run. Jish at the moment is going through set to 3. I didn't see what his set to 2 split was at the moment. You should have seen my face, by the way, on camera. Obviously, we couldn't broadcast at the moment, but my face my mouth went wide open actually at the moment. And now Jish goes into the 117. So track evolution must be the highest it's ever been at the moment. We've got Kieran on the run at the moment. This is a very fast section of the circuit as well. We could see some overtakes here from a lot of these drivers as well. We've seen a few people hit the wall a few times in this qualifying session then as they head towards turn 10 and 11. And he takes a lot of that curb actually. He was very confident through there as well. I tend to be a bit more tentative there because usually I tend to bin it otherwise. But he seems to be on the cusp of possibly maybe being rough. We'll have to wait and see, but he wasn't confident through there. And the final sector could make it or break it for one of our league directors here today, the one who organises league along with Formula Hun. So can he get into the 117s as well? He's only on a scrub set of 118.8, so we'll see what he can do towards the end of the session. His teammate comes across the line, Hun, with a 121.4. So I think we just got one person to cross the line. That will be KG Boy then in the Mercedes. Up to the line, P9 right now, but can he get higher than that? 120.1. So looking at teams then of who's got both their drivers into Q3, well, it looks like the only team that the only team that's got both their drivers into Q3 is Hun and Kieran in the Alpine. So there we go. That is good, and it's not just about drivers; it's team championship. So that's gold for them, isn't it?
It absolutely is. That gives them a prime position at the start of the championship to come in and get a nice haul of points straight off the bat. And honestly, if you'd have told me that bit of information around Q1, I might not have believed you, because as we saw, we've got some drivers a little bit out of position from Q1 pace at least, and then other drivers that have found their pace through Q2 and made it into Q3. And the likes of Hun, especially improving leaps and bounds in the sessions alone. We saw at the end of Q1, Hun just about made it into Q2, and then in Q2, Hun just about made it into Q3. So it's just about every time, but she keeps finding exactly the pace that she needs. So we could be seeing her move up the grid as well as the session goes on. But as I say, that we just she was in the gravel a little bit, but I'll pretend I didn't see that.
I think we'll both pretend we didn't see that, because I think we both saw that as I was riding on board with KG Boy in P6 at the moment. So yeah, but she's going into the pits now to set for one final run then. Don't forget, these times are not representative unless you're Z92 and just those two are definitely on new tyres. Those can't be on scrub sets. If they are on scrub sets, then fair play to them. As Ruff comes across the line, he does not improve, so he's going to go into the pits very, very soon then as well. Now, we need your predictions in the chat. All 11 of you that are watching in the chat, who do you think is going to get pole position? And if any of the drivers are streaming on Twitch, at the moment, and you know you're watching their POV. Get those viewers to come to watch our stream to see the other drivers as well, see how they do as well, and get some insider information in terms of strategy, in terms of where they are on track, penalties as well. This is the place to be as well. We've got myself and Paul taking you through the action this season, and after seeing what we're seeing today at the moment, it's going to be absolutely epic, as F1 Nerd is one out on circuit. We've got Ruff on the circuit as well, but he's on a lap right now in third. I wonder if he's on a scrub set or if he's on a fresh set as well with 4 minutes left to go. I think this will be his only lap of the session unless he's going to do 2 runs on the set at the same tyre, which can be done. I've done that before around this circuit in short qualifying. I think he's backed off. He's backed. Has he backed off? It's hard to tell in tracks like Australia. We'll see as he heads towards the final few corners. Is he going to dive into... Yeah, he's backed off. I thought he's backed off. So he's backed off for another run. F1 Nerd is just about to start his run, as well as is someone that just come out in the pits. That's Hannah, who's starting her run as well in P7. So we'll see everyone's predictions then on who they think is going to get pole and what will be the pole time. Well, can Z92 and Jish improve from their times, or do you think that will be the pole time?
I'm not sure. I see a prediction from Babas Far in the chat saying Ruff is taking pole. I think that might be a good shout, because that lap that he's just bailed on, it was purple in the first 2 sectors. So there's definitely time on the table there. And if anybody's going to find it, it's, as we've seen, it's going to be Ruff. But speaking of purple in the first sector, F1 Nerd's just gone purple in the first sector on this lap on that set of new soft tyres. So where will the McLaren be on the grid? In fact, he's backing off a little bit by the look of it. Yeah,
he's backing off. He's got his ERS to batteries on 100%, so he's going to go again, move out the way of the other drivers as well, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds still to go in the session. And anything can happen. We have seen short performances in real life as well. Remember, in 2022, in real life qualifying, we saw Charles Leclerc take pole and the win here. So it is tradition that if you get pole, you usually get the win here as well. But like with FHK in season 1, I think we saw about 1 or 2 safety cars. Well, it might have been 3 safety cars actually that we saw in that race as well. And it was quite competitive as well. And anything can happen. So F1 Nerd is going to go again then. So he's going to go again then on his run. Hannah is on her run. KG Boy is on his run, going through turn number 3 as well. That was very comfortable through there as well, much better than I could do. Heading towards turn 4 and 5, by the way, there are, well, for 3, 4 and 5, there's some bits where you don't have to lift, you could go full throttle, but it does depend on the actual setup, because with my setup I have to lift a little bit. But with someone who I race with, he says to me, "Oh, you don't have to lift through there." But I don't believe him as well. It's very difficult. You have to turn in at the right place. But anyway, we're about to get through into the final part of qualifying. And Z92 is about to start his run. So is Jish, I believe, about to start his run. But we'll follow Hannah as she heads towards the final few corners. Then it will be a penultimate run of the session. Then be looking equally impressive so far in qualifying. One of the highest qualifying females so far in this session. What can it be for her? Can it be an improvement? 1:19.5. That is really, really good for her. Who's next across the line? We've got Kieran up to the line, and we've got more people up to the line as well to start their final runs. I thought someone was going to improve there for a minute. F1 Nerd. Yes, he's improving on the lap. What can he do? 1:20.0 at the moment. It's not about eliminations at this point. It's who to get pole position. Scars is warming up his tyres, so he's going to go again. And I'm very, very excited for this one. And we'll see who's going to come out on top. Is it going to be Z92 or Jish? Or is it going to be Scars? I haven't seen Scars full potential yet, as he's about to start his run now.
Yeah, and everybody out there at the moment, Z92 will not be improving, going a little bit too wide just as I joined there, going through turn 12, invalidating that lap. So 1:17.5 is going to be the most that Z92 is going to be able to pull out unless he can charge the battery and go. F1 Nerd isn't going to improve on the 1:20.0, so that is them done with the session as well. Everybody else is still out there at the moment. In fact, Z92 coming into the pits, that is qualifying over for him as well. 1:17.5 will have to stand, and can anybody beat that? Ruff is out there at the moment and improving, not by enough to take that pole position just yet, but there is still time on the table, just coming round the final few corners now, as well as we've got yellow flags going on towards the pit lane. I think that's just cars retiring.
Kieran up to the line then in his Alpine. 1:18.7. That still doesn't change his position, but improves on his time to a P5. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with that. Scars, oh, he's not going to improve. He's got damaged front wing. Jish. But Jish, 1:17.538, knocks Z92 off the top spot. He was purple in the final sector as well. His final sector was incredible. Ruff. But Ruff said, if anything you could do, Jish, I could do better and go to 10th quicker than him. Congratulations to him. And I think the only person that can improve is Scars, but he has invalidated and got a damaged front wing. So, yeah, someone did say in the chat, I think it was Babatunde actually, predicted Ruff to get pole position. Don't forget, Ruff has not topped any session today, but Q3 is the only session that counts. If you top Q3, you get pole position, and Ruff improved in all 3 sessions, and he delivered, so congratulations to him. Scars starting in 10th, that's not ideal. I was expecting him to be 1st or 2nd. It's going to be quite about a mixed up grid as it seems as well. We'll run through your order then. So we've got Ruff, from Jish, from Zen92, from Milsom, from Kieran, from KG Boy. We've got Hannah in 7th, F1 Nerd in 8th, Formula Hun in 9th, and Scars in 10th. But don't forget, qualifying is not where the points are rewarded. The race is where the points get rewarded for the team championship. And there may be some people that are a lot better in the race. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Oh, this is my first ever full qualifying I did, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, likewise for me. It's you get all the excitement that you get from the qualifying that if you're watching it, the real world Formula One did about nearly 2 hours ago now. God, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Jess?
Yeah, it really, really does. So we are going to be going into the race now. What will the weather do? They have not told us about the weather in any of the chat, so I didn't look. So if anyone do not spoil the weather, please, because I want it to be an absolute surprise for us as well. So, and it's going to be dry again. I wonder if it was set to clear weather for the first race of the season. Not surprised if it was. If it's dry all 3 sessions. Anyway, that's all right. That's all right. So, we're about to get underway very quickly. I can't remember if formation lap is on or off.
It is not. It is off for this session at least.
It is off. Okay, so we are going to get underway very, very quickly, and we've got 15 seconds to go. Hopefully people have saved their setups as well, because otherwise they're going to be in a bit of a trouble, and they're going to be changing their strategy as well. One-stop strategy here today, hard, medium, or medium hard, but we don't know what tyres they'll be on until we get underway. So formation lap off, they'll be getting going soon, and the 5 red lights are coming on your screen right now. We've got Ruff on pole, Jish alongside, and it is lights out. And away we go. And some decent starts from some drivers, some awful starts from others, as Ruff has got a really good start up into turn number 1. Look at Finn all of a sudden. He's gone from like 4th to 2nd position. He's had the best start of anybody.
Jish has gone round.
Yeah, Jish has gone round as well. He got caught up, and I think in an instant, unfortunately. He's down into 16th place. Yellow flags everywhere. I think a few drivers got caught up. I think it was Babatunde. There's carnage in turn 3 and 4 and 5 as well. So Formula Hun's dropped to 15th, MX Fans dropped to 16th. We got the 2 Ferraris fighting tooth and nail at the moment. Steven on the soft tyres, so he's expecting to move up the field very quickly indeed. He's got past his teammate Hannah up to P7. Scar's doing very well from 10th up to 6th, so he's had a good start as well, trying to get past Kieran in that Alpine. Alex had a good start as well. Someone did say in the chat to watch out for him in this race, and I said to watch out for him as well. He's doing very well, and he could be the biggest gainer so far in just a moment. We've got Scars then. Could he get past? We've got Kieran trying to go down the right-hand side of F1 Nerd. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Kieran is up to 4th place, and F1 Nerd has also had a good start as well. So Kieran up to 4th, F1 Nerd up to 5th. Ruff stays in P1, but Milsom, what a start from him. He just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was an absolutely corking start from Milsom, and there's been battling going on this entire lap as well. We've still got battling in the back half of the top 10. Babatunde has been battling with Radio Alex the whole of lap 1 almost. They're still side by side coming down the start-finish straight now. Alex this time going to the inside, but I think Babatunde should have that. He's shown pace on this lap. I think he made up a couple of positions, in fact, during that lap. And then the fight that's now brewing behind them, Weller, Bainesy, and Hun all involved in this as well, as Hun looked like she was trying to go around the outside, forced a mistake out the Mercedes, it looks like, and dives back in front of Bainesy there into the third position in this little battle that is brewing. But I've always a big wobble she has coming through turn 5 as well. It's very, very easy to lose the back end through there, but she just about holds on to it. And this battle, I feel like, is going to go on for some time. They've been squabbling since the start of the race.
Yeah, they have, and Hun is still in this as well, so she could get the Alfa Romeo. She's going to take the shortest route possible she possibly can through to this corner then. Clips that left-hand curb. Can she hold her line then as we head towards turn number 11 then? And I think she's got him. Yeah, she's got him. Formula Hun then is up into 12th position in this Australian Grand Prix. Don't forget, top 15 do score points in this league. And she actually could get past Alex here as well as they make contact. They make contact as, unfortunately, my commentators' curse for the Alpines in all my leagues continue. And that's a bit frustrating. But, yeah, Ruff is pulling away by quite some margin. 1.4 seconds over Milsom in second, Kieran in third. Let's look at position gain, actually, whilst we had a moment. Biggest gainer was Babatunde, starting last, up to 10th position as Bainesy. He's gained another position. He's now up 3 places, up to 11th. As yellow flag. That is just gone round. Now, considering the amount of good qualifying pace he's had, that's not translated to his race pace because he seems to get involved in incidents.
Yeah, he's round again as well. The rear
Alex is round as well. Alex
the rear tyres, yeah, Alex has come round as well, just behind at turn 1. Proving a bit tricky at this phase of the race for those drivers, but Jish, whilst trying to get back going again, looked like he just turned those rear tyres into lava, and there was just no grip. So he tried to get going again. The rear end stepped around, and he did another full 360 before finally getting that Red Bull pointing in the right direction. So that is not the ideal start at all for Jish with the pace.
Oh, Scars, an F1 nerd, and they reset the track. Scars, you're not meant to reset the track. That's not allowed in this league, I don't think. But there was a bit of contact then from quite a lot of the drivers. They seem to be making a lot of mistakes, but that is what simulation damage can do for you. And it may come down to who makes the least mistakes that will do well and score some decent results in this league today, because it is it's definitely error prone this race, because I've had a really bad, my first ever race around Australia on this game was absolutely awful, and I was a lap down by lap 3, and that was on simulation damage as well. So to be honest, I feel for the drivers that are near the back at the moment, because that's, to be honest, that was where I would be at this moment in time, as Babatunde gets past F1. No, unfortunately, Alex has binned it, and we've got, we've got a safety car due to Alex's retirement, and we're going past now. Oh, that's so easy to do, bidding it through there, unfortunately. I'm just trying to see who can we follow to see. I think oh yeah, I do see that the damaged Alex there. Yeah, he had a good start, but unfortunately got very unlucky, made contact with a few drivers, and that is his race done and dusted. So we're down to 17 drivers. And that's good for Stephen. He could potentially go in and get a free pit stop out of this as well. I can't remember if the hard tyres get to the end, but for some people, if they started on the mediums, this is a godsend. They could get a free pit stop out of the way. Scars, it may be a bit of an issue, but Kieran is in for his first stop. Quite a lot of people are staying out then. Okay, so they're not following my rule, but as Stephen is alluded to, he goes in then. So he was the one who benefited from that safety car.
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit that we've seen the top 2 stay out, but Kia come in, because Kia, of course, made a couple of moves on those opening laps up into P3, and the safety car could have closed those gaps right down as he comes out of the pits into the side of a Mercedes.
Cold tyres.
Oh, yeah, cold tyres into the back, and gets a penalty for it as well. Severe collision with Bainesy at the top of the screen. Just came out, couldn't slow it down in time coming out of the pit lane. I think Bainesy came off. It almost looked like Bainesy didn't even notice. To be honest, the Alpine just sort of came along and booped across the rear wheels, and around he went, and a penalty assigned as well. But as I was about to say, the gap could have closed, and he could have maybe tried fighting Milsom and Ruff on the restart. But as the cards have unfolded, it's not looking that way at all. As it all slightly came undone coming out of the pits. Maybe an inspired decision to come in as early as he did under the safety car, but what happened straight away afterwards is definitely not ideal.
And he's got a 5-second time penalty as well added to his penalty board, so that's not going to be good. So unless he pits again, that's going to add to his rows, unfortunately. But let's have a look at who has made their first stops under the safety car. Kieran has made his first stop, so has Stephen, KG Boy, F1 Nerd, MX Fan, and Ella Wriggles. If you were near the back, I don't blame them for getting one of their first stops out of the way now. This is a track I find that you get the most annoying delta glitch. You just slow down massively. It just goes like in the reds like by 3 seconds, and you have to slow right down, otherwise you'll get a drive-through. I think that's what a lot of the drivers were experiencing there as well. Hopefully the game will fix that at some point as well, or it may just be an anomaly, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's Ruff that leads. He's going to be leading the safety car through soon. I think everyone will catch up soon, so he should be in with a few laps. And as Jish has retired in the pit lane, he's had enough. That's unfortunate. As my motto is in life, you should never give up, and it's a shame that he's retired in the pit lane, but hopefully he could recover himself for next week, because he is a quick driver. He just needs to remember that the race is not won in lap 1, turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course with the top 15 scoring points, he still wasn't that far away from points finishers, and of course we are still 23 laps away from the end of this race, so there was still time for others to make mistakes, others to cause damage to their car, or cause more safety cars and so on. So points maybe were still on the card, but on the flip side of that, if you know you've got the pace and you make a mistake that puts you all the way down to the back, or a series of mistakes that put you all the way down to the back, it can hit your mental quite hard, and sometimes just getting that reset and preparing yourself for the next race might prove to be the better option. So we'll see next time out if that is the case for Jish, as the safety car will be peeling in this lap.
Yes, it will then. So let's see who's made the right stuff, and let's see if they can make it through turn 1 unscathed. But we saw what happened in lap 1, so I don't have too much hope, to be honest. But it is our first race in the FHK League for season 2. This is a inclusive league to invite a lot more female drivers, and hopefully once we get more female drivers, we'll have a female and a male team. As an illegal overtake from the back people. I don't know who that was there, but hopefully they'll be allowed to return the position. But we'll follow Ruff then, as he can go when he wants, as long as nobody overtakes him after the safety car line. So he can go. He's going to leave it late, I think. As soon as he floors it, he's flooring it. He's go. Here in Australia then, and Ruff's restart was timed to perfection. But you know who else has had a good restart? Milsom as well. He's matched his restart as well. We got Stephen trying to go around the outside of Bainesy, but he's got well, I thought he had no front wing there, but he's absolutely fine. Kieran's made his way past Hannah. He's back to where he was at the start of the race. He's back up into P6, so it's more like it for him, but he does have the penalty looming at the moment. Bainesy trying to get past F1 Nerd into turn 4. Can he make it this time? Yes, he can, but F1 Nerd could get the switchback on him through turn 5 and 6 then. And it looks like Bainesy has the edge on him at this moment in time. So there we go. Bainesy stays in 11th position. Ruff still putting away for Milsom. Scars up into 4th place. He can try and get past Z92 in a few moments, but Z92 is right on the back of Bin and ready to pounce. We got KG Boy that's got past Hannah. Stephen has got past Weller, and it looks like Hannah's actually going to try and get past KG Boy then through turn 11. Through 10 and 11. Can she do it? Yes, she can. She makes the move stick, and she's back up into P7. That's more like it, and that's some good racecraft from the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, she was coming under a bit of pressure on the restart, actually, but managed to keep it together and, in fact, start fighting back to regain positions from earlier on in the race. So back up to P7 for Hannah as Stevens back. Oh, in fact, no, Cagey Boy, sorry, is into the pits again after running those hard tyres for just a couple of laps so far. That's an interesting one. In fact, so I'm wondering what is the plan for Cagey Boy at the moment. But keep your eyes on Babatunde while all this is going on. From P20 on the grid, Babatunde up to P5 now, running similar strategy to the same, to the front three at least. Scars, of course, on the hards in P4 at the moment, but he's going to come under some pressure from Babatunde pretty soon. But the pace in the Alpha Tauri at this early phase of the race has been absolutely incredible. As we've got more overtakes. Is that Stephen having
Stevens
gone around
had a
somewhere?
moment. Stevens had a moment in the background. He spun through turn 5. I've done that a lot on this game. So, no hard feelings for Stephen, to be honest. It's so easy to do. But I don't think he's got severe damage, so he should be absolutely fine. But his tyres are going to be extremely hot at this moment in time. So what a shame for the Ferrari. But at the moment, still in the point. So, he should not give up at this stage. As Ruff still managing to increase that gap even before the safety car came in. 1.2 seconds. He's absolutely flying at the moment and could be on course to win this race. He has no penalties so far as Milson's on 3, Z92's on 3. So a lot of people are exceeding track limits by just a little bit. F1 Nerd gets past Bainsy up into 8th position. So we've got a PlayStation 1, 2, 3 at the moment in terms of the platform wars. We've got a PC in 4th. Yellow flag. What's that yellow flag? That's Ella. That's Ella that spun it in the penultimate corner. But no damage from her, so she's going to carry on then. And for another run as Formula 1 has spun in turn 2. Another spinner there, 2 spinners in the space of a couple of corners there. There's a bit of a shame there, but still everyone is still going on lap 9 of 29. So anything can happen, of course. Don't forget to follow the league on Twitter at FHK League. For more information. If you haven't followed us already on Twitch, make sure you follow us by clicking the follow button, the love heart as well. The alerts don't come up on our screens because I don't have it set up for commentary. So if you do follow, we may do the shout out of all the follows at the end of the stream. So if you haven't already, make sure you give us a follow. It'll be great to get the follows up on FHK League as well. As Raf is about to start lap 10 of 29, and don't forget he hasn't pitted yet. He's committed to the one-stop strategy, medium to hard. So is Milsom and Z92. Scars as well is looking to do hard to medium, it looks like as well. And I found on this game the hard to be a very good tyre.
Oh, yeah, a good tyre, but not quick if you are... well, yes, quick. Sorry, if you are MX fan at the moment. As
yes.
I was about to say, he's going to be looking to make a move down the main straight on Weller, but Weller's seeming lack of pace coming through that corner, I think, just caught MX fan off guard, and he just gave him a little bump draft, and it almost spun the horse around through the final corner, which ended up meaning the move didn't happen. I think he might have just gotten away with no damage there. There's nothing visible on that front wing, so very lucky indeed. As that was very wide coming through turn 5 as well there. Absolutely pushing at the moment on that hard compound tyre. But as we have one Aston Martin leaving, as you may have seen in the chat, we have got an explanation from our second Aston Martin as to what was going on. Front and rear wing damage.
Hang on a minute. We'll talk about that in just a second. We got a battle for P2. Sorry to cut you off. Z92 down the inside of Milsom for P2, and that was very, very calculated from the Williams driver up into second place. And Scars is all over the back as well. Babatunde is also in this fight. This is going to be a DRS train and a half, and I've been in DRS trains around this track before, and it is very difficult to get out of, and we're going to be seeing then as they all make their way towards turn number 1 then, and we'll see if Z92 can hold their nerve, and that is all helping Ruff extend this lead by a lot. Right now, can Milson get back on Z92? They make a little bit of contact through turn 3, heading towards turn number 4 then. where you can't go wide there, and Milsom made a very brave move, and he's now up into second place. Then 92 almost rejoined the track unsafely, and that's allowed Scars to try and get back at him in this next straight then. And now we got Babatunde want to join the fight. It's incredible racing from all three drivers then, and Milsom is running away with it because those three have been absolutely squabbling right now, heading through turn 9 as they head towards turn 9 and 10 at the moment. And you gotta be careful you do not ride the curb too much. DRS enable then for Babatunde, but can Z92 get past Milsom? No, not quite. Scars could not get past Z92. Babatunde could not get past Scars. That's the danger of the DRS train. Sorry about that. We had to cover this battle because that was absolutely immense, and I wonder if they're going to get a go again this lap.
Yeah, I don't think it's over either. I think Z92 will be breathing a sigh of relief, actually, because in all the defensive driving he was having to do around Milsom, I think it just overheated the tyres in the first few corners, and that was what caused the mistake going through turn 5 that then allowed Scars and Babatunde to have a sniff of this fight as well. But you can see with the power of DRS now, able to get right back onto the back of Milsom, recomposed, ready to try and retake that position. And here we go down towards, they did touch, but they think it's just about okay. We saw the wiggle, but they're still, but side by side in the background, Scars and Babatunde round the outside of turn 4. Goes Babatunde, gives him the inside line, but he's going to back out for now. It's very tricky to try and hold too wide through there. But Babatunde is absolutely showing intent right now. I've seen plenty of DRS trains across different leagues on this game where, for the most part, at least until after the pit stops, the drivers will sit back and manage their resources. That is not what we're seeing here at all. These drivers are hungry to get track position before the pit stops, and they will stop at nothing to get by.
Yeah, and that is very exciting as well. And the benefit, I was in a DRS train yesterday and in Bahrain, and the benefit that I was able to save a lot of VRS just being stuck behind a car because you weren't able to push too much. But here comes Z92. He's got him, but Milsom was able to capitalise on Z92's mistake. Z92 did not make that move stick, unfortunately, and Milsom's back into P2. But don't forget, due to time penalties, Scars is in a net P2 right now, but Milsom and Z92 are in. Scars stays out, obviously, because he's on the hard compounder tyres. Will Ruff follow suit in the next couple of laps as well? Will Hannah follow suit? No, she doesn't. Hannah stays out. So she's going to do, I think, a few more laps and then come on to a set of the hard tyres. Nerd will probably come in soon for maybe a set of softs later on as well. So Z92, yep, hard tyres. Milsom, hard tyres as well. And those two are going to keep squabbling for position. But don't forget, this pit stops, they were set to immersive. And it looked like that Z92 did not have a good pit stop. Because the gap was at least 3 or 4 tenths before the pit stop. It's now like 3 or 4 seconds. He might have got 5 seconds from earlier on, and that might have caused it. Actually, yeah, he might have got 5 seconds. Excuse me, but I don't have a clue. But if it's not, that is not the best of pit stops, unfortunately, for Zen92. But he's got a long way to go. He's still got to get past some traffic. Milsom is very happy that he's got some clear air in front of him as well. So he's going to try and push to make sure he stays ahead of his rivals. What will Ruff be thinking? Will Ruff be coming in? No, Ruff is going to be going for the overcut then for the rest of the drivers. Formula Home pitted a few laps ago. She's on a set of the hard tyres, which will get to the end of the race. So she's on for a one-stop strategy. As Kieran gets ahead of Babatunde because he's going on to a set of the hard as well. Hannah's also in for a set of the hard compounder tyres. So it just leaves Weller and Ruff, the only drivers to have not pitted since the start of the race.
Yeah, and I can confirm, I just took a look at the race director. It was a 3-second penalty, it seems, for Z92 that's caused that gap to open up. It was picked up on lap 4 for a third visit outside of the track limits. So pushing very hard in the early phase, a little bit too hard. That has proven very, very costly indeed at the pit stops. And a little bit of work to be done now as Babatunde he himself has a little bit of a gap now to a Milsom up front, 2.5 seconds back. So the undercut working nicely at the moment for Milsom, putting him in a nice bit of clean air. But let's see if the undercut was that strong for those drivers. How is it going to work out for Ruff? 3 seconds back to Scars at the moment. In terms of the gap to leaders, it's going to be fairly comfortable, I think, for Ruff. We'll see if he comes in on this lap. But a slow pit stop for whatever reason could really throw a spanner in the works, as
He's in.
Ruff doesn't need to come in.
He's in then for his one and only stop of the Grand Prix. So he's going to go on to hard, and will Milson get ahead? So Milson past turn 11, heading towards turn number 12 now. Ruff on the hard tyres. We'll see what his pit stop is. We can't tell the pit stop time, a feature I kind of wish they add to the game at the moment. Milson's going through the start-finish straight, and I think Ruff is going to be comfortably ahead. I think it's going to be the same gap as it was before the pit stops. I think it's been cut down. It's increased to about... Oh, no, it's roughly the same. It's roughly the same. And due to the cold tyres that Ruff has been facing, Milson is allowing to do that. We've got a yellow flag. That is, I think, Bainesy that's gone off. Yes, it is Bainesy that's gone off final corner. That's allowed the likes of Stephen, Hannah, and KG Boy to get ahead of him. So, unfortunately, KG Boy's up to 11th spot at the moment. Now, I'm excited to see what Milson could do, because these warmer tyres is definitely taken to his advantage. But it won't be long before starts to warm up a little bit, the tyres, and then he can start pushing again. But if I was Milson, I would take advantage of it, as Z92 gets past in traffic and up to P7.
Yeah, and Milsom, I think, is definitely trying to take advantage of it right now. That gap has come massively down already, and absolutely still pushing purple through the middle sector. And as much as the middle sector is the fewest corners of any sector on the track, any real corners anyway, it still shows just how much that Milson wants to get back onto that rear of the Aston Martin to try and push into this final phase of the race and stick with the de facto race leader and try and fight for that race lead. As it was that gap. In fact, there you go. Milson 1:21.6, fastest lap of the race so far. And now, can he stay in touch with Ruff? Ruff will have the tyres up to pace now, but Milson got close enough for the DRS, so that should keep him in touch, and we could be seeing a battle for the lead brewing into the final part of the race, into this final stage.
I am very excited for this. Maybe Milson's just a bit more confident on the hard tyres than Ruff, or maybe it takes a while for the hard compounded tyres to get up to temperature around this track. It takes about, I think, 3 or 4 laps to really get going. I did a race around Bahrain where it took forever to get the mediums up to temperature, so I wonder on this game that it does take a while for the tyres which are not soft to do so. So we'll see what Milson can do. He's going to be on the attack. He's going to have the DRS after turn 10. They're past turn 10 now. So Milson, them on the attack. He's going to be using his overtake right now. He's got plenty of battery heading towards turn 11. Clips that right-hand curve as well. A few curves are some sausage curves, which I think should get rid of on this in real life and on the game. They're an absolute nightmare. As Formula Hun gets a 3-second time penalty. That hopefully doesn't cost her in her bid for points in this race. But Milson a little bit too further back to get past Ruff. Don't forget, Ruff is your net race leader due to the fact that he has no penalties, and even if Milson gets by, Milson's got to beat 3 seconds up the road to Ruff to win this race. Babatunde, if he catches up, he could be on for net P2 as well. Anyone who hasn't got time penalties is in a good shout of winning this race. We're on the final third of this race now, coming up soon, as KG Boy is in, and I think that's what the yellow flag it was for. Yes, it was. So KG Boy is going in for a scrub set of the hard tyres, and he's going to go that to the end of the race. I believe he was on the hard tyres earlier on in the race. Stephen picks up a penalty as well. What would I do if I was Scars? Would I stay out for a bit more and maybe go onto the softs, or would you come in and go for mediums?
It's a tricky decision. I think he's going to have to keep his eyes on what the lap times of the likes of Ruff and Milsom are going to be compared to what he can keep up with. Obviously, with the lap difference between the two sets of tyres, he's not going to be able to match them punch for punch unless he really does have some unseen pace in that car. But if he can stay somewhat in touch and stop that gap from coming down too far for those runners that started on the mediums, staying out for the softs might actually be a good call for later on, especially without the likes of a penalty to his name. Would put him in a prime position to really come aggressively fighting towards the end part of the race. But I feel like the play it safe move, especially with Ruff now going ahead and setting the fastest lap of the race, will be to come in the next lap or two for a set of those yellow wall mediums, just to to play the advantage. He'll still have that compound advantage. It won't be as severe in the final stage of the race, but it will prevent those gaps from coming down too much by staying out too long on the old hards.
Yeah, and we also got to keep an eye as well on in terms of where the teams are in terms of the team championship as well, because it's not just about the drivers. The team championship plays more of a factor here in FHK. So if you have both your drivers in close proximity, then guess what? You're going to do well in the team's championship at this moment in time. And don't forget, there's people, realistically, that can't get their tyres to the end. They will still have to make one more stop and hopefully pray for a safety car. The Scars comes in to the pit lane as he is going to be going on to a set of the mediums, it looks like. So I don't think the softs will get to the end unless he could go for a very brave call, go for softs. No, he's going on to mediums like I was suggesting. So there he goes, and that will get to the end. So where would that put him in relation to Ruff and Milsom? Well, a little bit too further back, unfortunately. So we're going to keep an eye on Z92, MX Fan, Stephen, Hannah as well. Stephen's coming in. So Stephen's coming in. Obviously, those mediums do not get to the end from there. He wished he did not have to make that extra pit stop, but he is making that extra pit stop. So he's going to go on to a set of softs. They last 9 laps, and without a safety car, that's a bit touch and go on puncher territory. I'm going to be a bit worried if I was Stephen, but that's a gamble that is worth taking. Milsom, another penalty for Finn. That puts him up to 6 seconds. That's surely P2 in the back for Scars at this rate.
It should be, but Babatunde is within DRS of Scars for the time being, who might be able to fight that. But of course, the compound difference might make that a little bit trickier. But it's worth noting as well, speaking of penalties, Ruff has not been super tidy. I saw him on this lap. He made his way past F1 Nerd, and it looked like he might have gotten an extension warning. I'll have a look at the race director. He was very, very wide coming through turn 1 after making that move, and it looked like it might have given him a warning. I'm just checking on the race director. In fact, no, saying that he got away with it, but it was very, very touch and go for Ruff, almost being on the grass on the inside of turn 2, but getting away with it without a warning, without any real drama. So still looking pretty comfortable there, but a penalty would throw some spanners in the works for his race come towards the end, though I think he'd need quite a few for it to really affect whether he's going to win or not, with Scars being as far back as he is. But Scars on the medium compound of tyre at the moment, just coming up on the ghost of Caesar. Purple through the first sector as well, just to show the pace that he's throwing out there on those medium tyres at the moment. I don't think it's going to be long before we see Scars on the back of F1 Nerd and Milsom and starting to take the fight towards the leaders.
Yep, it will. It won't be that long at all then. Hello, everybody. If you just joined us for the FHK League, we've got 10 laps to go of this Australian Grand Prix, and it's been absolutely amazing to watch so far. Thank you so much for joining us, and we literally don't know who's going to win this race as Z92 gets past Babatunde up into P6, into turn 11 then. But will Babatunde choose to fight back? I wouldn't think he would fight back, because obviously Z92 does have a penalty and Babatunde does not, but he may be on 2 warnings for all we know, and he may be on the limit of that, but that's why he's probably pushing now. So he's got ERS to use, he's got the DRS to use as well. He's not going to use ERS, he's got a lapped car as well, which could distract him a little bit, but luckily for lapped cars, ghosting is on. Yellow flag, that is a McLaren, that is Ella, I think, who's a lap... No, it's not Ella. I'm not it is Ella.
It was Ella, yeah.
Yeah, she is a lap down. Yeah.
It's all slightly come undone for Ella in the second McLaren as that was going on. The other McLaren was getting overtaken by Scars. I said it wouldn't be long before he's on the back of those two, and he already is now looking at going side by side with Milsom through turn 10 towards turn 11. He's through on the inside. Those mediums are absolutely flying at the moment, but Milsom not quite done. Look to try and go back around the outside, but the compound difference is so strong between those two, and Scars is absolutely rapid at the moment.
He is. He's loving life at the moment, as everyone seems to be making mistakes behind, and Scars just seems to be loving life at the moment. Could we see our first winner in the FHK League that is not on PlayStation? Well, Scars could change all of that. At the moment, we've got a PC driver in P3 at the moment. We've got our highest Xbox driver in P8. And obviously we've got our highest PlayStation driver in P1 on the road. But will that get to the end of this race? Maybe Kieran could take the gamble. He could take the gamble and stretch those tyres to the end. Because it lasts 22 laps. How long has he been on those tyres for? 17 laps. Gonna be a bit of a push if you ask me. And we know Rough is quick on those hard tyres. So, I don't know. I like taking risks in Formula 1. If he gets to the end on those tyres and he gets on a podium, that would be, I have to say, a good effort for him. But if he does not, well, it doesn't matter. He'll probably still be in the top 10, I would say, if he pits anyway. And he may stay out unless there's a safety car. Because we did get a safety car at this point in the first race on F1 2020 in FHK. So he's probably hoping for that, as tradition dictates at the moment. As any close battles we have on the track, it seems to be is quieting down a little bit. As we got more penalties. Hannah's got one. I think Daisy just picked up one as well. I think with most people having penalties, it won't affect people lower down the grid. It may affect people high up the grid at the moment. So you don't really want to be on 6 seconds. So MX Fan and Milsom, they may drop way down if there's a safety car. So lap 23, Kieran, your race leader. 5-second penalty though, and Ruff is catching. Scars in third, Milson fourth, F1 Nerd in fifth, Z92 in sixth, Babatunde in seventh, MX Fan in eighth. And then we've got the two Ferraris in 9th and 10th. I don't have a clue what that does for the team standings, but thank goodness we don't have to do the maths. We've got our lovely tier coordinators that will be doing all the dirty work for us. But yeah, I literally don't know who's going to win this one. If I was Kieran, what would you do, Paul?
Right now, looking at it, I would say stay out. It might be a bit of a risk on those tyres, but that gap is only coming down by maybe 4 or 5 tenths a lap. So towards the end, he on that basis alone, he would still be in front of Ruff on the road. With the penalty, it might be a bit tight, but if he knows that Scars is closing in, that means that Scars and Ruff are going to start squabbling in the next few laps. That will slow Ruff's approach down on Kia as well, and stop that gap from falling as quick as it is. So Kia could potentially still win this by staying out on those tyres. All he needs to do is make sure they don't pop before the end of the race, and he could still win this. 2.6 seconds is the gap once the penalty's getting applied. I believe it's a 5-second penalty.
It is 5-second penalty,
with. So yeah, 2.7 seconds the gap. Scars 1.2 off the back of Ruff now, so that squabble's coming in the next lap or two. That could slow Ruff down. So Kia is still in with a shout here with just 5 laps to go. He's just got to bring it home.
Yep, he's got to. We almost saw Z92 lose it in turn 2 there. That was very close from the Williams driver there. I did not want another front wing damage car for him. He seems to be very loose on the back end, is Z92 as well. So I wonder if his tyre is starting to wear off a little bit. F1 Nerds, the other driver, has been on those tyres for 19 lap. Scars is going to be on the back of Ruff very soon on those mediums. He's pushing. He's gaining. They're going to start squabbling very soon, and that's good news if you are Kieran. But we know that those two will catch up to Kieran soon and get within the penalty range. So maybe Kieran won't be aiming for the win. He probably will be aiming for, I think, podium spot material, I would say, because the rest of the field will be a bit further back to them at this moment in time. So podium could be a good aim for him as Z92 gets past F1 Nerd, showing how worn the 19 lap old tyres are. Yellow flag, that is Ella again in P15, who's spun, keeping on the island, keeping on the road. Don't hit the wall. She does not hit the wall. Okay, that's good. She hasn't hit the wall. She's got no damage, I don't think, on those softs, but those tyres are going to be dead once again. As speaking of the other McLaren, he almost got past Babatunde there, but he did not. Well, Babatunde got past F1 Nerd as well. But luckily he's got a decent gap between himself and MX Fan, as Ella Wiggles has binned it again, unfortunately. And I don't think she's going to get any points, which is a bit of a shame, because I was expecting her to climb up a little bit, but there's still plenty of race to go in this championship, and still plenty of things that could go on as you got to be careful to not get disqualified, Ella. Oh, you don't want to get on the gravel. You don't want to beach it, Ella. Oh, hopefully she hasn't beached it. Oh, she's okay. She's okay. She's on the island. She's good. But I think she's going to be a couple of laps down at this point. So she's going to be lapped again by our race leader then. So there comes Ella. And I think if she has a spare set of softs, I would come in. But she does stay out. Fair play to her for not giving up. Same for Caesar as well. Just shows the crucial part of this league as well. And then we've got another lapped car as well, which could spoil the party. But look at Scars, he's right on the back of Ruff.
Yeah, Scars has been on the back of Ruff for the last sort of lap or so. Battery-wise, I think Scars has just been saving up a little bit for a charge towards the end, because as Scars got into that DRS range, he had nothing left in the tank. No battery at all, but now has managed to save up to about a quarter tank, which is roughly what Ruff had. In fact, no, Ruff's actually saving as well a little bit, nearly up 40% now in the Aston Martin. So it is going to be a battle of resources between these two. So Scars is going to have the tyre compound advantage, and when we still got 1.3 seconds the gap back from Kia to Ruff if you take that penalty into account. So it's looking like it's going to be very tight between these two and Kia as well on time come the end of the race, should he manage to get to the end without popping one of those tyres. And the squabbling could really, really help. Are we going to see the first little look at a move from Scars now? Then down towards turn number 13. He's got the DRS.
This could
He's
be
on
it.
the battery. He's looking to the inside. He dives back in behind. Not going to make it just yet, but getting in the mirrors like Aston Martin, showing intent. Just maybe trying to force a little bit of a mistake out of Ruff at that phase, just to try and psych out his opponent. And I talk about it a lot when we're doing the PSGL races, is the four-dimensional chess that these drivers are playing at this phase. When you're this late in the race, you're saving, you're burning all your resources, trying to get a move done. Again, just moving into the mirrors, just making Ruff know that he's there and trying to force a mistake, whilst also then reserving himself for whatever he's actually planning to attack.
Not that long to go until the end of this race. We've got 3 cars that could be win this race come the end of it, and it looks like it will come down between Ruff and Scars, because Kieran's tyres are starting to be on the bubble of punchy territory. You could tell the gap's coming down thick and fast, but you never know, these two could make a mistake and that could go back in Kieran's favour. But we know that Scars' tyres are on the better condition compared to everybody else, and I don't think there's going to be any safety cars to win the party. But here comes Scars then on the attack, heading towards turn 9 and 10 then. Oh, they got to be careful not to make contact. They just about keep it on the island. They make a bit of contact there though as they head towards turn number 11. Could Scars made the move done? They lost a bit of time left to Kieran, but not too much time as Scars gets past P2 now. Scars, all he's got to do is find 8 temps at the moment, but I think he's going to find more time than that, because I think he's going to be mega quick on those mediums. He's got some clear air now. Let's see if he can do it. Or can Ruff still fight back? I don't think he can. This is going to be an almighty scrap. I think at this point, I think Kieran's going to be aiming for, I think, at least P2 or P3 at this point, because these two are starting to catch up at a rate of knots. But to be fair, after that instant at the safety car, he'll probably take that.
Yeah, I imagine he probably will, but I think he's still sort of praying for some kind of miracle. Ruff still has a bit more battery in the tank than Scars does, and now has the DRS to try and stay in touch. So for Ruff as well, it isn't over. He was looking pretty solid through the first part of the race, or with the lead, the safety car closing that lead back in, of course, and then losing out on the pit stop, staying out a couple of laps too late, it would seem, and that's just allowed those around to get the undercut working. But just using the DRS, using the battery to stay in touch with Scars for the time being. The gap, oh, that's a big wobble for Scars coming out of turn number 12 as well. That's going to bring Ruff back into it, and these two could be squabbling still. And look at that gap, 5.8 seconds. The gap, still 8 tenths need to be found. Kira's making his way around the final few corners now to start the final lap of the race. Scars has 6 tenths to find on this final lap, whilst keeping Ruff behind if he wants to win this race. It's going to go all the way down to the wire. Ruff is not going to let this one go without a fight. Scars basically has nothing left in the battery. Ruff is burning the battery, but can't quite get there with the DRS down towards turn 1. He's going to get it again down towards turn number 3. Is it going to be enough to try and start a fight as we've got yellow flags in the background for Stephen's gone round? But my eyes are staying glued to this fight at the moment. Still 5.6 the gap. Ruff right on the back of Scars now through the middle sector. Not really going to be anywhere here to overtake, but he can just try and stay with him and set himself up through the final DRS zone. Kira's praying, I think, behind the wheel of that Alpine that they are going to keep this scrap going. The gap is coming down 5.2 seconds as they make their way through the fastest section of the track now. Are they going to close that gap down enough? It looks like they might, unless they squabble into turn number 13.
This could be battle for the win here. This could be battle for the win.
Yeah. This could be battle for the win.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
is
going to go
battle
all the
for the
way
win
down
now.
to 13.
It is battle for the win. 4.9 seconds. They can't afford to squabble too much because they'll lose the win. So this is going to come down to the wire then through turn 11. That lap car's not going to help much, but this will be so close. Scar's got to use the battery. Oh, Kira's made a mistake. He's made a mistake coming out the final corner. This could lose him out on the win. So he wins on track, but that mistake in the final corner has costed them. Scars comes across the line and he wins the first round of FHK Season 2. Ruff takes P2, Kieran takes P3, Finn takes P4, but what could have been for him with that pit stop? We'll ask in the chat what happened to him there. Z92 will take 5th, Babatunde 6th, and we'll just wait for the last few cars to cross the line. The only person out of the finishers to not score points would be Ella. Everybody else who is finishing will score points, which will be a good point to kickstart their constructors campaign, as Ella picks up another time penalty. So Hannah then is going to score some decent points for the Ferrari team in P7. I have to say, the highest scoring female in the first race, so she'll be really happy with that. The amount of improvement on this game already from her has been insane. So well done to her. MX Fan in P8, good recovery drive from him. Also good recovery drive from F1 Nerd and Bainesy as well to get some points. And Stephen has binned it again. That is a shame for him. I think it's going to be close between him and Formula Hun. Actually, no, it won't. I think Stephen lost it. I think Hun's going to get P11 here. Yes, she is. So Hun is going to get 11th position then. 1 place below where she wanted, but she'll still take it. It's points. KG Boy in 12th, and Stephen will be the last man to cross the line. He hasn't run out of fuel, so I think he just lost it there. What a race to kickstart at FHK, and I want more of this, please, guys.
Yeah, I don't think you could ask for more than a race coming down between 3 cars and a closing gap and a battle on track at the same time. Just incredible finish, and a lot of really good racing throughout as well. We saw a few of the drivers were a little bit error prone through the race, but managing to get the recovery drives in place as well. We saw, worth noting, Hun at the start of the race dropped all the way to the back of the grid from where she qualified. So a good recovery drive to almost get back to where she was planning on wanting to be at the end of the race in P11. Babatunde started at the back of the grid and finished in a very good points paying position as well. So a lot of drivers having really, really good drives here as well. Not to mention, of course, our top 3. Kia working that alternate strategy, if not for the podium, would have been a race win there. But just a little bit unlucky on the podium. And as Luke said in the chat, really cruel through the final corner to just that little bit of a mistake, that the couple of tenths that cost him.
5 tenths that costed him. 5 tenths that costed Kieran, but he was, to be honest, he made that mistake coming out of the pits on cold tyres. I didn't think he'll make it. I thought he would have had to do another stop, but he's proved us wrong. And I would like to know his tyres at the end in the chat. Maybe he could tell me on one of his streams, maybe, as to what his tyres were at the end. Maybe the Hun's viewers already know, or Kieran's viewers already know, but I don't know. But anyway, let's run through your order then. Scars takes the first win for Alpha Romeo, and his teammate in Weller finishes P14. But we got Ruff in P2, Kieran P3, Milson P4, Z92 P5, Babatunde P6, Hannah P7, and MX Fan P8, F1 Nerd P9, Bainesy P10, Formula Hun in 11th, KG Boy 12th, Stephen gets the fastest lap point as well in 13th, Weller 14th, and Caesar your final point. Ella, your final finisher, but does not score a point, unfortunately. But your retirements, only 2 in Australia, which I have to say fair play, is Jish and Alex there. So that has been a race to remember. And congratulations to Scars, our first ever race winner on FHK. that's come from the PC side. That's 1-0 to you, Paul.
Yeah, 1-0 to me so far. Of course, those that don't know, I'm commentating from the PC and Jess is commentating from the PlayStation. So
Come
maybe
on,
we'll
PlayStation guys.
keep a little score going on through the season to see who wins between the two commentators over PlayStation or PC. And if we get an Xbox winner, we'll say chat gets a point. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea as well. I like that competition. Before we go, we may as well pick a drive of the day each. I know they won't do a poll, but I always like to pick drive of the day. I'll let you go first. Who has been your standout performance today?
Honestly, I don't think I could give it to anybody other than Babatunde coming from the back of the grid up to P6. And if there was just a couple laps more, I imagine we could have seen Babatunde fighting for the podium as well. The pace on that final phase of the race, playing the strategies the opposite way around and coming in stupidly fast on those medium tyres in the final stint and just blasting past people left and right at the start of the race on the hards as well. It was a really incredible drive to finish that high up in the points from right at the back.
I'll have to give it to Scars then for winning the race. Scars did not start in P1 or 2. He had good qualifying Q1 and Q2, bowled in Q3. He was near like 10th place or whatever, and then came all the way to P1. So a brilliant performance for him, and he made those mediums last and put the pressure on both Ruff and Kieran then on the final lap. So I have to give it to him. So those were our two drivers of the days. And a big well done to everyone who took part today. We had 18 drivers compete, only 2 retirements. So I have to say, it's a successful race for FHK. And I can't remember what is the next race. It is Monza, there we go. In 7 days' time, we head to the Monza circuit in Italy as well, the home of the Tifosi. The Ferrari-powered cars will definitely want to do well there as well. And Paul, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I think that race has just shown really across for everybody what sort of racing we can expect this season. It's going to be fast. It's going to be just constant racing on track, battles up and down the field. It's going to be a very exciting season. And the Temple of Speed for the second track, I mean, it's going to be a brilliant race.
Yes, make sure you join us same time again next week at 4 p.m. UK time. Thank you guys so much for watching the first race. We will see you in 7 days' time for the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. Have a good evening, everybody, and goodbye.